What's going on, guys? So every now and then I browse the Steam library for like some free games when I'm feeling a little cheap. I found a pretty cool looking game called Postmouse. It's an indie game from developers Critters Collective. Now, if you were just to look at gameplay of this game, you would immediately make comparisons with Moss, which was a very popular PSVR game. I didn't play Moss, so I can't make any comparisons between the two. But hey, if you're somebody out there who's played both, let me know in the comments what these two have in common. Let's get right into it. The game puts you right in control of a small mouse who has to take over deliveries for the day since a co-worker called out that day. And it's been a dream of his. He's been wanting to do this for a really long time, so he's excited to do it, and he's got passion behind it. I should note that the deliveries are usually made by birds. Obviously, they can fly to their destination. And of course, you're a mouse, so that's gonna lead to the gameplay itself, which is gonna involve climbing up trees, leaping on mushrooms, activating bridges, and just overall getting creative to find your way to the next delivery. The controls do take some getting used to. I feel like that's something I'm always saying, but it's true. The camera movement almost moves way too fast. You could play on keyboard and mouse, and I've heard some people say that they preferred that, but I'm playing on controller, and I did eventually get used to the super fast camera movement on the joysticks. And I was sad to see that you couldn't invert the up and down movement, but again, I did get used to it after a while. I was surprised to see that Postmouse, while yes, it's an indie artsy game, is really a 3D platformer at its core. The platforming here is done really well. You're kind of left to your own devices to figure it out, and I appreciate that. The game doesn't hold your hand. Sure, there's a button that kind of points you to your next objective, but it doesn't tell you what exactly to do. You unlock a very important skill early on, which is the ability to climb moss. And you can use that to climb trees outside or things like chairs inside that have overgrowth on them. I love how tight the controls were. There's times where you're gonna have to kind of teeter-totter your way over planks of wood or twigs, and the controls were very precise. And really, that's what helped the immersion in this game, and it made you actually feel like a mouse would feel. The graphical art style of this game, I would say, was inspired by the English countryside. There's a small area right outside of a mansion that you explore, and that has your typical stuff like tall grass, trees, mushrooms, animals which don't attack you, by the way. And then there's the inside of an abandoned mansion, it looks like, which is why there's a bunch of overgrowth inside the mansion, which allows you to climb all throughout the mansion. During the day outside, the game does start to show its indie roots. Some textures look completely low resolution, or as if like when you're playing a game and the texture just doesn't load. Some textures do have that problem. You can tell they tried their best to make up for that with a really good lighting system. There's times when you're just running around and the reflection off the sun reflecting off of the grass and trees looks really good. Indoors, same thing, some texture issues here and there, but overall the interiors look really good. The game also has a nighttime section as well, which also looks really good. You're actually accompanied by a lightning bug, which lights your way, and that looks really artistic. You can definitely tell that this developer was trying to cut their teeth experimenting with all different types of 3D platforming. And for that, I say they knocked it out of the park. I would love to see some more games from this developer with 3D platforming. If you're expecting the typical things from an indie game that you find nowadays, especially these artsy ones, like a story, voice acting, and heartfelt music, well, there is a little bit of heartfelt music in here. Don't expect that with this game. Like I said before, this is a 3D platformer at its core with a smear of English countryside applied to it. Which leads me to my last point. If you made it this far in the video, the game is only about an hour to complete. I got to a mission which felt like a boss fight. I failed that a couple times. I was finally able to beat it, and boom, the game ended. I was a little sad, and then I remembered it's a free game. I do feel like the developer was just trying to practice some things. They put a game together, shipped it out. They want people to get to know their name so that in the future, they can charge us for something a little more expansive. So yeah, if you want a quick romp through some grass and trees, climb on some tables, and have a good time for about an hour, all while supporting the developer and maybe exposing their name a little bit, give this game a shot. It's free, and that'll do it. I do enjoy looking at these free games off of Steam. It's sort of like a no-lose situation. If I don't like it, I could just stop playing. If I like it, I could get a video together for you guys. If you like these type of videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.